You are listening to This Week in Taiwan. I'm Eloise Phillips. Every Saturday, we break down the biggest stories making headlines across the country, from politics and economics to culture and the unexpected. Whether you're tuning in from Taipei or halfway around the world, we've got you covered with what you need to know to stay in the loop. Taiwan will invoke preferential tariff mechanisms after the United States announced plans to impose a 100% tariff on imported patented pharmaceutical products, the Cabinet's Taiwan-US Economic and Trade Task Force said Friday, April 3rd. US President Donald Trump imposed tariffs on patented pharmaceuticals and their ingredients under Section 232 of the 1962 Trade Expansion Act to, quote, bolster American national security and public health, end quote, according to a White House fact sheet published Thursday. The tariffs, also announced Thursday the 2nd of April, will come into effect in 120 days for large companies and 180 days for smaller companies, the White House said. In response to the announcement, the Taiwan-US Economic and Trade Task Force said Taiwan exported 1.32 billion Taiwanese dollars, nearly 40 million US dollars, worth of patented drugs to the US in 2024, accounting for 13.5% of the value of Taiwan's drug exports. The US has temporarily exempted generic drugs and their raw materials from the tariff and will reassess the exemption within 1 year, the task force said. Taiwan exported nearly 8.5 billion Taiwanese dollars, around 270 million US dollars worth of generic drugs to the US in 2024. The overall impact on Taiwan's pharmaceutical industry is considered controllable, the task force said, adding that the government will continue cooperating closely with industry stakeholders. President Lai Ching-te visited the site of the Lin Family Murders for a plaque unveiling this Sunday, where he spoke regarding the unsolved case and Taiwan's transitional justice. Democracy advocate Lin Yixiong's mother and his 7-year-old twin daughters were stabbed and killed in 1980 in what is now called the Lin Family Murders. The plaque marks Gigong Church of Qixin Presbytery, Lin's residence at the time, as a site of transitional justice. The president noted that this is the first approved site of transitional justice that was applied for by members of the public, and said it is a moment for the nation to bravely confront history, remember its pain, and strengthen democracy. President Lai said the Lin family murders are the darkest and most tragic chapter in the history of the authoritarian government's human rights abuses in Taiwan. Upon taking office, he said he demanded the accelerated release of archives to uncover the truth. As of February, the National Security Bureau, or NSB, had declassified and transferred more than 140,000 political files to the National Development Council's Archives Management Office, including all files related to the Lin family murders. The Control Yuan, Taiwan's highest supervisory body, revealed an investigation report stating that the purpose of the murders was to suppress non-partisan activities and strengthen social control. According to a 1980 NSB intelligence report, the possibility that the attack was carried out by non-partisan individuals, pro-independence activists, or international organizations was ruled out completely. The investigation continued for 2 years without identifying a suspect. The investigation has been reopened 4 times since, with an unmatched fingerprint considered the most likely evidence to identify the perpetrator, but it remains an unsolved case. The president emphasized that history has proved that true peace is never achieved by bowing to or compromising with authoritarianism. He said he believes that Taiwan will have more confidence to tell the world its story when more people refresh their historical knowledge. Lai said,
The story of the Taiwanese people is a story of courage. Even after the Lin family murders, facing brutal intimidation and a high-pressure political atmosphere, the Taiwanese people did not back down, instead becoming even more determined to push Taiwan towards democratization.
The government is coordinating measures across multiple ministries to stabilize supplies and prices in Taiwan amid the ongoing war in the Middle East, Premier Zhou Rongtai said Monday after a special meeting of top officials. Among the measures announced, the Ministry of Transportation and Communications has activated subsidies for aviation fuel. The Ministry of Health and Welfare has also been instructed to ensure stable supply sources for the production of various medical materials. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Economic Affairs has been instructed to coordinate with CPC Corporation and Formosa Plastics Corporation to stabilize production of raw materials and secure additional supply sources, including oil and naphtha. The Ministry of Agriculture will implement measures to manage supplies of fertilizers and fuel for farms and fisheries. Zhou said authorities will conduct inspections to deter illegal stockpiling and price gouging and will consider more proactive measures if there are serious violations. Foreign Minister and Acting Special Presidential Envoy Lin Jialong is currently leading an industry delegation to the Marshall Islands, one of Taiwan's diplomatic allies. On Wednesday, April 8th, he shared the delegation's progress, including an inspection of the Marshall Islands' new parliament building site, along with wishes for the project to proceed smoothly. Lin's first stop was a trip to pay respects to Amata Kubwa, the first Marshallese president, in line with tradition. Following this visit, Lin presented his credentials to Marshallese President Hilda C. Hein. Hein expressed appreciation for the strong Taiwan-Marshall Islands relationship, saying she looked forward to deepening cooperation across multiple fields. Lin echoed the president's statements, thanking Hein and the Marshall Islands for many benefits shared by people of both countries. Lin said he hoped this visit would lead to even more concrete cooperative outcomes and strengthen ties in trade and investment. The foreign minister then visited the construction site of the new parliament building alongside Legislative Speaker Brendan Weiss. The Marshall Islands' original parliament building, also known as the Nitijila, was severely damaged by fire in mid-2025, with reconstruction efforts ongoing ever since. Taiwan is cooperating with the United States to jointly fund the reconstruction project, as explained by Foreign Ministry East Asian and Pacific Affairs Department Director General Michael Zhao Honglin.
Regarding the Marshall Islands Parliament Building Reconstruction Project, the U.S. government is the main donor, providing $13 million, while Taiwan and other countries provide support.
He said. Those funds for the parliament reconstruction, as well as Taiwan's involvement in the project, were outlined in the U.S. partnership with the Republic of the Marshall Islands fact sheet, published in September. Premier Zhou Rongtai outlined a three-pronged approach on Wednesday to combat the rising threat of fraud and virtual asset crimes: heavier penalties, faster interception, and stronger victim protection. Chairing a national security briefing, Zhou stressed using cross-ministerial cooperation and advanced technology to tackle evolving scams. Despite Taiwan's strongest safety record, authorities are escalating crackdowns on organized crime. A recent nationwide sweep dismantled 58 criminal rings, apprehended 285 suspects, and seized $60.88 million Taiwanese dollars, approximately $1.9 million US, in illicit funds. Zhou urged law enforcement to leverage big data against criminal syndicates and highlighted the recent implementation of the revised Anti-Fraud Act, also known as the Fraud Crime Hazard Prevention Act. The government is also addressing emerging threats, like xylazine, recently classified as a Level 2 narcotic. With virtual currencies increasingly driving fraud losses, the Financial Supervisory Commission, or FSC, is accelerating regulations to identify fraudulent crypto wallets and trace illicit financial flows, particularly those involving Tether. While over 10 billion Taiwanese dollars, around $314 million US, in fraudulent assets have been frozen, the complex investigation has delayed restitution. The Justice Ministry is collaborating with crypto platforms to expedite the return of these funds. Additionally, the Cabinet recently advanced the draft of the Virtual Asset Service Act, a draft act, to establish regulatory frameworks, protect investors, and dismantle fraud networks. Taking public buses to travel between cities is a daily routine for many. However, bus safety systems in Taipei and New Taipei are now at the centre of a national security concern after the discovery of Chinese chips in their surround view systems. DPP legislator Michelle Lin presented evidence that electric buses operated by Xinxin Bus and Tainan Bus contain chips from HiSilicon, a subsidiary of Huawei, raising cybersecurity concerns. She emphasised, "Right here in Taiwan, buses are running all over the Taipei and New Taipei area. This is a very serious national security issue. How many trips have already been made? How many buses are involved? This is something that really needs more attention." Lin said contract terms prohibit the use of Chinese-made products in the purchase of electric buses, but photos showed the logo of HiSilicon. Since the surround view systems capture large amounts of pedestrians and street scenes for driving safety, she warned the buses could become Chinese spy cars. She also said Xinxin Bus and Tainan Bus initially claimed the systems were made in Taiwan and the Netherlands, but later corrected the information after inspection and admitted the chips originated in China. Veterans Affairs Council Minister Yan Defa said, "We need to carry out a full inspection to see what other chips in this company are from HiSilicon. And at the same time, we need to seek compensation from the manufacturer according to the contract and replace all of these products." Yen confirmed that there are 82 buses with problems, including 61 operated by Xinxin Bus and 21 by Tainan Bus, all of which use a supplier that the council has listed as a contract violator. A special task force has been formed to conduct a full inventory, while operators are being ordered to replace the equipment within a set deadline. Tsinghua Institution for Economic Research, or CIER, Associate Research Fellow Dai Zhiyan stressed that what matters most is not the impact of a single chip, but the whole system, from the dashcam surveillance system to the intersection surveillance system, and then to the connectivity behind it. He said, "Once it can connect to the internet, much of our real-time information can be detected and seen by others. That is the bigger problem. Cybersecurity risks can ripple outward, and every link in the chain needs careful attention." And that is it for this week in Taiwan. My name is Eloise Phillips. If you want to know more about what's going on in Taiwan, visit our website at rti.org.tw/en. Until next time.